The events have transpired since the last briefing. Is the evacuation has been lifted for the area. All the residents are welcome to go back to their homes, and it's completely safe to do so. Employees from DTE have checked out the area, make sure there aren't any hazards. Still working to get some power back onto, I think, one residence, but that's ongoing. And obviously, they're trying to still get poles and wires back up for the traffic signals. An update on the driver. Detectives have spoken with him. He's at a local hospital. He's in stable condition. He's 24 years old. After interviewing him and several of the people, it appears that alcohol was a factor in this traffic crash, so detectives will be following up on that matter. Michigan State Police are out mapping the traffic crash area so we can get a good perspective, distance, and dimensions from one place to another on the scene. The intersection of Greenfield and Allen Road is closed. My understanding is it's going to be closed for a couple of days. There's some damage to the asphalt as well as the poles and wires that need to be replaced. I've been down on the scene talking with the DTE incident commander. He's done an outstanding job from the time that I got here. Very calm and cool, methodical in his job and his performance, and kept myself and the fire chief updated every step of the way. That's the only thing I was going to state at this press conference. If you have any questions or if the fire chief wants to make any statements, we're available. Obviously, we've got various representatives from DTE here if any of the questions involve their facilities.
All families, has everyone been let back into their homes? Is that correct?
Yes, everybody's been invited to go back to their homes.
And what type of facility was the crash at today?
It's a DTE facility. I don't know. I can't tell you exactly what they do there. That's probably a better question for them, but it's their property.
There were 2 vehicles that appear to be damaged at that site. What's the situation there?
Well, damage is a kind word. Those cars are basically, only left on them was metal. The one vehicle was involved in a traffic crash that started this entire incident. The other vehicle was a bystander who stopped to watch the initial flame and fire burn, and then he was sort of overwhelmed as the flame got larger and bigger, and everything sort of grew, and he left his vehicle and abandoned it there, and it is burned. So he's fine, my understanding is, but his vehicle is not.
What kind of charges are the driver facing at this point?
I think that's a little bit premature at this time. I'll just say the detectives are going to follow up, and the investigation will reveal the facts, and then that information will go to the prosecutor's office for any potential charges.
Is the driver a Melvindale resident?
I believe he is, yes.
Can you describe the scene itself? I understand that there was a fence, there's like a berm that you had to go through to get where this car ended up. Can you kind of just take us through the steps and how we got there?
Yeah, there are 2 berms around the curve on the property, and there's a pipe or valve sort of between the 2 berms. I don't believe there's space between the berm and the sidewalk to put. I don't believe there's space between the sidewalk and the valve to put anything in there. So the berm is sort of to the left and to the right, and then there's a telephone pole, or was a telephone pole directly in front of that space. And I honestly, I don't know how the driver managed to fit in where he fit. I'm not sure you could do that if you wanted to.
Is it a traffic accident? A crash started this whole thing? Could you explain that?
It's a single vehicle crash. The driver was coming southbound on Greenfield and made a sharp left-hand turn when he should have made a right-hand turn. We believe he's going to turn onto South Dearborn Street, which would have been to the right, heading west. He made a sharp left, heading onto DTE property.
Speed later on?
I don't have that information at this time. I don't have any indication that it was, but it's possible.
And tell us his condition one more time, I'm sorry.
He's in stable condition at a local hospital.
So he obviously got out. He was able to get out before the flames.
He could not get out himself. His friend was following him in a second car, and the friend helped him get out of the car. The driver did receive some burns getting out of the vehicle, his own vehicle. But I think without his friend helping them, I don't believe he would have gotten out. And had his friend taken another 5 or 10 seconds to do so, I don't think he would have made it.
And this was that different than the bystander vehicle that's
Yes,
running?
separate vehicle. 3 separate vehicles. The driver crashed one, the bystander left one. The friend that was following the crashed vehicle left the scene in his vehicle. He went to the hospital with his friend.
How far did he have to travel after the wrong turn before he crashed into the
If I had to guess, I'd say maybe 30 feet or so, over the curb, over the grass, across the sidewalk, over some more grass, and then into the component that he struck.
over a berm at least as well?
No, the berm is to the left and to the right.
He
He,
made it through.
he just sort of made it right between the two.
Protect the fencing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, went right through the fencing.
The friend took him to the hospital?
No, the officers that responded to the scene transported him to Beaumont Hospital in Dearborn. He was burned and appeared to be going into shock, so the officers decided it was, the best course of action was to get him to a medical facility immediately.
Can
Is
you
he
talk
still
about
there?
the extent of his injuries?
I know he has some burns, and that was advised he's in stable condition. He did speak with detectives, so obviously he's coherent in speaking with him.
Okay.
Is he still in the hospital in Dearborn?
No, he was transferred to another medical facility.
Has Melvindale Police had previous contact with this individual?
I don't have that information. The name is not familiar to me, but I'm not on the road anymore, so it's possible. I didn't look that up.
How long do you think it'll take to fix the damage to the road?
The information I heard down there was 2 to 3 days. Some of that is based on the poles and wires getting replaced and the traffic signals getting replaced. I think the condition of the road is going to have to be evaluated by Wayne County Roads, but if you go down there and just sort of wipe your foot across the top of the blacktop, the first 3 or 4 or 5 inches of blacktop just sort of crumbles away. It's kind of like ash.
That was a pretty hot fire.
Oh, yeah?
There were, people were saying that you could feel it from quite a distance away. Did you get a sense of how far away the heat radiated?
The sergeant that was on duty on the midnight shift here at the police station said he thought that the building felt warm to him, and he thought whatever happened close enough to the police station that it was endangering the building that he was in. He said he could feel the heat from here. And based on some of the video I've seen, I don't doubt that. I could see the smoke from my house, and I live 8 or 10 miles away. So it's fairly significant.
Any guess on how hot, or?
I have no idea.
Might be a silly question, but any estimates on cost of damage when you look at the whole scene?
You know, I don't have the information. I don't know what it's going to cost for DTE to repair their
It's
their
too soon to
infrastructure.
tell. We're still surveying the situation on the premises.
Based on the number of people that are out there from DTE looking around and taking pictures and measurements and photographs and trying to figure out what was, you know, I think they probably have a half a dozen or a dozen vehicles alone that are destroyed, let alone 2 buildings and the infrastructure that's there. Anything further?
Ma'am, can you talk about what kind of facility this is?
It's a gas facility, and as you know, the vehicle struck the gas main. But I would like to actually talk about the Melvindale and Dearborn Police and Fire, who were wonderful. We train for these kinds of incidents, and we have a very serious and complicated emergency procedure and process we follow. So working with Dearborn and Melvindale Fire and Police, we were able to mitigate the issues here. And happy that no one else was hurt, and the community and our residents are safe. They're back in their homes, and we'll go from there.
Can you give us your name and?
Paula Silver, Vice President of Communications for DTE Energy.
Spell your last name.
S-I-L-V-E-R,
Melissa
like the
Gonzalez.
color. Common spelling, yes. So thankfully, we were able to mitigate things quickly. I'm very proud of DTE, very proud of local fire and police, and very happy that no one else was hurt. The community is safe.
Chief, do you know if there's ever been something like this on this property? Any history like this?
Not to my knowledge. DTE's made a number of changes to their facility over the years. The berm was added, a bigger fence was added over the course of the years, but, you know, we've had people run through the fence onto their property, but not anything close to this, not even close. Hopefully this is a once-in-a-lifetime event.
So other than the gentleman who's in the hospital right now, there were no other injuries?
Not to my knowledge, no, thankfully. Anything else? Cool. Thank you for your time. If there's any news updates, we'll schedule another press conference, but we don't anticipate anything at this time.